And just the other day, I talked to Lori Sonnenberg from Sonnenberg Voice in Downers Grove. No matter what you do in life, your voice is important, and you should be able to have your voice your whole life. You don't like your voice, you go, it's so nasally. It's just so nasally. You get a voice person in your life, and insurance will cover this in a lot of cases, especially if it's a medically determinative. But I thought it'd be interesting to have Lori Sonnenberg on and also have you hear the type of exercises I do every morning before I come in to add one more layer to the Let's Make Fun of Steve part.
Great.
So I talked to her. I said, Lori, listen, when you were singing professionally for all those years, were you thinking about your voice?
That is a great question because I think one of the most important skills that I have and that we have to have as voice specialist, especially the therapist, so the speech language pathologist who's going to help the person change the way their voice is working. We have to be able to listen to what someone is doing vocally, whether it's singing or speaking, and internalize that in our own bodies, in our own voices, to determine, well, what is that person doing that could be causing it to sound like that? And so I have to sort of go inside and have a sense of what that person might be doing physically so that I can come up with a way to change the way they're doing it.
Now, the most serious form of a defect, if that's a proper word, or a real problem, is you start to get vocal cord nodules, and it can be obviously worse than that. I was concerned when I came to you, and you took away that concern very quickly and said, no, you're just doing it wrong. And you took me through some steps and warm-ups and things that I think it's interesting because here's the way it relates to the audience for me. Yeah, we have people listening who are singers and people who are in meetings all day, every day and have to talk. But this applies to everybody. Properly using your voice, you get up in the morning, you're told to stretch physically. These are vocal exercises that'll keep your voice strong well through old age and beyond. You'll be able to nag your kids, your grandkids, and really be able to use one of the things God gives you, which is your voice.
Well, exactly. And you know what I say to a lot of my patients and clients is I think I'm going to back up here. I think that the average person, especially someone who doesn't work on their voice on a regular basis, so like doing warm-ups and vocal exercises, that they don't really have a need to do that. I think a lot of people, general population, we kind of take for granted that our voices are just going to work the way we need them to and want them to. And so it's not really until you hit a snag or hit a difficult place vocally, for whatever reason, there's so many different reasons why that happens for people, but it's not until there's a breakdown or things go off track where then you're sort of lost. And it's like, why? Okay, well, what do I do now? And so once we design exercises to help with that, I say to people, this is not really any different than you getting up and brushing your teeth and taking your vitamins and brushing your hair.
One of the people I talked to about you, who was looking for some advice, asked an interesting question. Said they haven't, I don't know if it was an aunt or maybe the mom or whatever the case may be, but an executive. And as an executive, she felt her voice had held her back for her entire career because she felt it was nasally. She didn't know how to use it properly. It may be the wrong way to put this question, but can you teach someone to change their voice to make it more pleasant in a speaking environment?
Oh, absolutely. No question. The voice is such an amazing instrument. I mean, the capabilities of the ways that we can make sounds and the ways that we can manipulate the way we sound are just endless. If you have a professional like myself, who can listen and make those decisions about, let's try it this way and see what we think. There are endless possibilities to that. And when you want to make changes to your voice, sometimes it's important to remember you want to make sure you seek help from someone who is a professional and has a lot of experience so that it's being done in a healthy way as you build it up.
And we live in a content creator world. The Andy Warhol thing has come true. Everybody is going to be famous for 15 minutes. Everybody has their own talk show. So for people that are concerned about how they present themselves on Instagram, on TikTok, and various other places, it also seems that this is important to learn and understand.
It really is. The one thing I would say, one thing that about that content driven world is that if you're having trouble with your voice, and I think a lot of people do this, their first inclination is to go to the internet and start searching around. Okay, what can I find? And it's very easy to find a lot of free content out there for people that are saying, oh, well, if your voice is getting tired, try this. And you can find endless things out there, things that you might want to try. The problem with that is if you don't have guidance from someone who's really educated and experienced to make sure that what you're doing is good for your voice, it can become problematic, and you can actually cause more problems than not.
I want to tell people how they can contact you, but first, let's just do one thing here. And I believe the technical name here, I don't want to bog people down with too much science, but I think you call them lip bubblers.
Yep, a lip trill, or lip bubble, a motorboat sound.
Right. So just know that this isn't just for the good time. This is part of the way I warm up when I'm driving in, and I'll be doing this. And I'll do it over and over again. I'll try to extend it for a certain period of time. I'll take it up. I'll take it down. I'll sound like a complete lunatic, but it's just one of the ways I'm warmed up by the time I get on the air. And it's one of the most fundamental ones, right?
It really is. It's easy. If it's easy for someone to do, it can be a really easy way to bring the voice to a better place. I mean, I'm a really big fan too, for people who talk all day and sing all day, that they need to do something like that, just sort of randomly off and on throughout the day. Do you ever do that in the middle of the show?
Sure, absolutely. And I do it in front of my grandkids. I'll do it when I'm walking around Costco. I will be taken into custody sometime soon, but it'll be your fault.
I love it.
So that's the deal. If we can all just do it together. On three. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Makes a difference.
Yeah.
It does. I also do a siren. Mm-hmm. I do a wolf call, and this is another one. He goes, pretend you're in your neighborhood. You're yelling to your neighbor about coming over for a barbecue. Bill! Hey, Bill! Come on over. We're cooking steaks.
Sometimes you do that when you arrive here at the radio station.
When I start yelling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You go, hey, Jane!
Yeah, it's fun to yell.
So is part of this how you breathe, right? People
we don't
take a big breath and they puff their chest up, but really you want to fill your diaphragm up.
Yeah, but
from down here.
She taught me to take it through your low, your mid-range, and your higher parts of your voice and to work it out. But I'm telling you, for the first, 42 years of being on the radio.
Never did it.
Never did a thing.
So, but when did you notice your voice was like a little bit shaky? And
I don't know, Tom, what was it, a year ago?
Yeah, but was it prior a year? I remember when this was going down because I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's happening. But nothing ever at all. You had an inkling that your voice was like kind of cracking and getting
it went
rough.
from, maybe it's a cold or something to something more serious.
Because it didn't go away. I remember
But to go to Lori Sonnenberg is one of the best. She works with incredible opera talent and everybody who can sing and all that stuff. To go to her and have her be able to go, now we can work this out with exercises is fantastic.
It's really great. And by the way, that exercise, I used to work with a guy at the Loop a million years ago, and every morning he would do that, and it was so much fun.
It's funny you say the Loop, because when I worked with Kevin Matthews, he would just bark like a dog. And I don't think it had anything to do with warming up his voice.
That was just Kev.
You don't think so?
Was it Kev? I don't know.